It's so hard for me to call something finished. It's nearly impossible. And this room, this shop space, is definitely one of those things that I have the hardest time calling finished or completed. It is ever evolving, and that's mostly because of workspace. I don't have a lot of space, and I just have a lot of stuff. So being able to move in here efficiently is top priority. I want things to look cool and neat, obviously, but when it really comes down to it, I need to be able to have a good workflow. And last year in my shop space video, I kind of have no idea what I was thinking and how I configured everything, because it was not good. It was so hard to move in here, and I think that you can tell. All my videos last year, it just feels so tight and confined. Part of that was because I had a huge mobile workbench that I actually built for my last shop space, which was inside of a garage. And that worked out great because it could roll around. It housed a lot of the bigger tools. I had a great outfeed table and workbench set up, but it didn't work for here. And I just had to pull it out. Do I miss having a workbench now? Sometimes, for sure, I can't lie about that, but not enough to compel me to build a new one. We'll see, maybe down the line I might change my mind about that, but for now it's fine. I can work off the ground, or actually I do utilize the surface tops I have. I think I'm okay without a workbench for right now. Again, that might change in the future. But all of this stuff that I have, it's something I accumulated over time. It wasn't all at once. A lot of these tools also were factored into commissions that I've had. So that's how I was kind of able to get things. Some other things I just invested in and I hoped for the best, which is not something I suggest, but it's worked out for me, and I have to give credit where it's due. I wouldn't have gotten into this whole, makery thing if it wasn't for my stepdad, John. He had a table saw and a combo kit with drills and a circular saw and all that stuff. And someday I'll give that table saw back. But I started not even using tools that were mine. And I've been slowly trying to accumulate my own and give things back that he so graciously let me borrow. So yeah, let's show you some stuff. I'm embarrassed about some things, but I hope you enjoy. All right, so welcome to the shop tour. This is it. It's not very much. Well, I take that back. It's not very much space. Believe this is like an 8, or no, I think it's like a 10 by 12. Let's refer back to the IG post. Okay, so first of all, this sign, I love it so much. It is the song title of one of my favorite songs by ELO, Electric Light Orchestra. If you haven't heard the song, it's a little bit wild to me, but not out of the realm of possibility. It's a good song. Check it out if you'd like. So one thing I want to touch on right out the gate is the lighting in here. Now, I ended up getting 4 pretty cheap LED shop lights from Home Depot or Lowe's, one of the two. And I can't remember if they were $10 or $20 each. But anyway, I wrapped them with some diffuser cloth that I got off of Amazon and decided to put them vertically because I wanted backlight at all time when I was filming. Regardless of the angle, I wanted there to be a break between me and the walls or just whatever's behind me. And that creates more of a visual depth. I'm a huge proponent of backlighting. Now, all that said, the diffusion is great for softening the light, but even with the diffusion, they're too bright. And there's no way for me to bring the brightness down at all. And it's just a little bit too blown out sometimes, so that is something I am going to change, and there's going to be a lot more controlled lighting in that regard. So let's move on from lighting. I know I'm pretty sure everyone hates when I talk about lighting, but I swear it makes your videos better, and I just don't think people put enough forethought into their lighting, and that's why I talk about it a lot. So anyway, let's start here. My favorite tool in the whole shop is the drum sander. I have a Jet Benchtop, I believe 10-inch capacity. I freaking love it. I don't know what I would do without it. Just suffer, I guess. These tools are not cheap. They are not. But I think it's worth it in the long run. It just helps so much with efficiency and accuracy. I love the drum sander. I do have it on this cart that's just made out of plywood, and it has some heavy rated casters at the bottom, so I can pull this in and out of here, move it around wherever I need to really easily. And at the bottom I have a Dewalt planer. I don't remember which one, the smallest one. I don't use that very much. I only used it once last year, and I thought about selling it when I got the drum sander, but it was nice having it when I needed it that one time. So I don't know, maybe I'll sell it, maybe I won't, I don't know. This whole setup works though. I might get something a little bit more robust in terms of like the cart that it's sitting on, or build it again. I don't know. It's fine. I haven't had any issues with it. Behind that is my Grizzly Benchtop 9-inch bandsaw. What I loved about it was it's pretty much plug and play. When I pulled it out of the box, it was tuned. I didn't need to do anything. But now the blade broke and I put a new one on. I'm just not good at tuning tools, so it's okay. I finally got it to a point where it works, but I just always have this feeling that it could be better. Someday I'll get my shit together. In these drawers, I just hold some router bits, which is a little odd that it's over here when like all my routers are on the other side of the room, but it just fit in the drawer and it's fine. I can walk the like literal 3 steps it takes to get the router bits. Underneath that in the bigger drawer, I just have more bits and some blades and some other stuff. Nothing all that exciting. I hang the bandsaw blades up here, but I kind of want to do something different, switch things up. I left this pretty bare because the CNC used to be here, and I had planned to build an enclosure, so I figured that would block this wall off anyway. But I moved the CNC, so now this wall is just barren, and I want to put some stuff there. Let's go this way. Okay, this is my Dewalt contractor job site. I don't know if it's a job site saw. It definitely has its limitations. It is not perfect. I used to have this on that mobile bench I was talking about earlier. I moved it to just a stand. It's not fancy at all, and it's really light. I can move this whole thing if I need to, which I do sometimes because I'll have longer pieces or something, and I can kind of just rearrange it the way I need to when I'm doing certain cuts. I love having that portability, I guess, again, because this is a small space. This window is the only window in the shop, which is kind of perfect because I can just close these blinds and have controlled lighting if I want, but I also like looking outside and looking out into the trees. I live in North Carolina, so it's lush, especially during the fall. It's just nice to have a window sometimes. I couldn't fathom closing it. One thing I do consider adding is maybe like a curtain, just for a little bit more control if that's what I want. But for the most part, I utilize that. So this corner, pretty embarrassed about. Little to no effort over here. It really just becomes a dumping grounds for a lot of things. I needed some quick vertical storage, so I just threw these shelves up. The brackets don't even match. So yeah, it's super embarrassing, but I don't know. I'll address it. I'll get to it at some point. Paper towel holder, because you always need paper towels. The Beatles, because it's colorful and vintagey, which I love. Okay, Dewalt miter saw on the Dewalt fold-up stand thingy with the extendable blah blah blahs. I have no complaints about this miter saw. I always get jealous when I see people having lasers, but I don't know how important that is. It's not a necessity. That's just a luxury, in my opinion, that I would like to have at some point. But until then, no complaints. Thank you so much. So this is also the most dustiest tool, even when I have it hooked up to a shop vac. She's just messy. So I took what used to be a closet and made what I'm calling a dust cove. So I have a Shop Fox dust collector, and I use a Rockler hose that honestly looks good on camera too, and it extends to literally every point in my hat fell. Can't have nice things. Anyway, I painted it pink because, first of all, why not? And second of all, it looks super good on camera. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite things in this shop. It is a jukebox. I have a special affinity for jukeboxes. I love it so much. And it opens and stores things, and it probably doesn't look that great, but it stores things. Very exciting. I love this thing. Okay, now this corner is probably the most embarrassing corner, which is why this door is usually open. I don't like to show anything back here. Okay, let's do it. So my bigger clamps just get leaned against the wall in this corner. I don't use them very often. I could put them on the wall, but whatever. This router table, not a fan. Not a fan. I'm gonna leave it at that. Beneath here is like a graveyard of just crap. Nothing of real importance back here. WD-40, I guess. Down here is where I keep all my finishes and some epoxy and all my spray paints and such. And that completes this corner. Well, I guess I also have like a Google Mesh in here so I could get nice good Wi-Fi up here, and I have an Alexa situation over here as well. Okay, first embarrassing part about this whole area is again these shelves. Couldn't be bothered to make the brackets the same color. Talk about quick and dirty, you know what I'm saying? I originally intended for this shelf to be shorter, but when I just went to see how it would look with this MDF, I realized I could actually use all this space. Ooh, got a cat. So I kind of just left it and then didn't move the bracket over. But this just holds my Dewalt plunge router and a little Ryobi palm router. Over here, I have all my CNC bits and clamp situations, leftover epoxy cat situations that I like to throw into some packaging. What I love about this whole situation is how colorful it is. What I don't love is, as you can see, some of them are just knocked over because I bump into this like all the time because I'm just clumsy. But what I'd like to do is kind of have like all these sitting in some like slots so that when I bump into it, it doesn't knock over like it does. I also have my WEN remote to the air filter. It does a pretty good job. This is a small space, so does what I need. Down here we have my X-Carve by Inventables CNC. Her name is Mariah. She is a workhorse. She's about 500 millimeters, which is very small, but you'd be surprised at how much I've been able to get out of this CNC. And it's, you know, in all the projects that I've done with it, it has paid for itself. I am upgrading, and that new one is coming in April, which I cannot wait for. It's gonna be such a game changer for me. Very excited. But back to Mariah. This might be the last time we see her. I don't know. And I have a Windows tablet 2-in-1 situation connected to the CNC because I don't care about it very much. So if it gets all dusty and gross, which it does, it's not like a $2,000 MacBook Pro. And it's cool having a touch screen. Back here, I have just a pegboard wall that I painted back in my last shop. It functions. It's a pegboard wall, nothing fancy about that. I also have an extra outlet just hanging from the ceiling that I can pull down and move to any corner or section of the got it. All right, over here I have my 6-inch Grizzly benchtop jointer. I love this thing. It is small and pretty fierce. I'm sure it would be even better if it had a helical head. Down here, I have just gallons of glue, essentially, to counterbalance this top heaviness. And this filing cabinet is on top of some heavy rated casters. I also have all my maker stickers. If you want to do an exchange, DM me on Instagram anytime. So down here I have another shop vac, actually, connected to another Rockler hose. Back here I have batteries, a random cigar sign. I don't smoke cigars, but it's here. I guess this is where I decided to put my propane tank thingy, propane torch. Drills, nail guns, multi-tool, orbital sander, storage things. Over here, this clamp wall is, I love it. It actually works so well for me. I can just grab things really quickly, put them back. It stays nice and neat and organized. Perfect. If anything, I wish it was a little bit larger, but that's it. Other than that, freaking love this thing. I love having the tools just directly on the wall, on nails, or screws actually. Now, the black wall. I love it. I think it looks great. The only issue I actually have with it is that this is a workshop where I do woodworking most of the time, so it's dusty. And the only way to remove that dust is like by using a cloth, which means I have to take everything off, wipe it down, put everything back on. I do want an air compressor. I don't have one now, and I feel like that would be easier to just like, you know, wisp that shit away. But I don't know, who knows? Maybe it's not a better idea. Maybe once all the dust settles, it just kind of goes back where it was. I don't know. Still want the air compressor regardless. Okay, this is the sanding station, as I like to refer to it. I have a vise over here that I usually just clamp down and do all my hand sanding on. Nothing fancy, just something from Harbor Freight. Another item from Harbor Freight is this belt sander. I don't remember how big this is. Is that an inch? Probably. It works great. Just as long as you have a good abrasive, it works well. I have this WEN 5-speed drill press. Does what I need it to do. Not the fanciest thing. There is a dent in it because it once fell on my ass. I did not have it bolted down, so it was my fault. I was just kind of rearranging things at the time, knocked into it with my ass, and then I paid for it. So, fun fact. This is embarrassing, but I have a whole bunch of prototypes and ongoing projects. I guess I could have cleaned it up a little bit, but honestly, that's just how it is. I'm always working on several things at once, so every surface just kind of gets used up in my small space. Now, this belt sander, disc sander combo situation, I don't like it. I really don't. I want something else that's not that. So that's all I'll say about that. Over here, I have some cool prints and a sign I made. This is like past mistakes. I love having these on the wall because I really like to see the evolution of a design and also an improvement or not improvement of something else. Yeah, so I have a kind of that blank space over in this corner, so I'm gonna rearrange some of these things, add more past mistakes up here, and this will just kind of be the past mistake area. Over here, all these tools are on magnets. I love having my things on magnets. It's just so easy to take the tool, put it back. Very easy. These magnet strips are also from Harbor Freight. They just come black, so that worked out perfectly for me. All right, so down here I have all my sanding stuff, so different sandpaper, different sanding discs, more sanding, just sanding. Then I have some, screws, bolts, nuts, these sustainers in this box I just made, and some more bits and things. Down at the very bottom is where I hold all, just more tools actually. Like my track saws down there, some belt sanders, angle grinders, more. So that completes the Shop Space 2021 tour. I hope you enjoyed that. I have no idea. I was probably awkward most of the time. We'll see when I play all this back. But I love being in here. I find it very inspirational. I love creating things in here. And right now, this workflow works so well for me. Hopefully, maybe it gave you some ideas in how to kind of function in your small space. Or maybe it showed you what not to do in a small space. I don't know. This is just what's been working for me. And as I said at the beginning of this video, this is an ever evolving space. Things are gonna change constantly because I'm just never satisfied. I want to say thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you've made it to the end. This was so rambly, I'm already embarrassed. But I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Love you.